Aaron told me when they did the retirement
Not mine.
Ready? And that's the
Good crowd. I was surprised how healthy You good?
Well, welcome everybody. How are we all doing today?
Back. I was good.
How is everybody? Hey, let's go. Come on. So,
Likewise, as always.
welcome. Thank you all for coming out for our June lunch here with Jack Henry. And first things first, did somebody tell you there's like a Gallagher show going on? Why are there so much empty space here? Come on up. Don't be shy. No one's going to smash a watermelon today. But first off, ST Springfield Tech Council does not exist without our sponsors. So we want to start by thanking our founding sponsors, Pitt Technology Group. I see a bunch back there. Where you at? Oh, Jamie's out in the hallway. Randy, thank you guys for coming. Kevin. Cornerstone sponsor, CNH Reman. We got a bunch here today. Reman, let's go. Come on, dude. Jeez. Visionary sponsors are SRC. I see Ryan and Lyle. Who else is here? Good, thank you guys for coming out. And is anybody here from Jack Henry? See, that's how you're supposed to do it. Way to lead indeed. We'll talk more about them in a minute. Thank you for your year-long sponsor. The year-long sponsors, their investments in Springfield Tech Council are what make up our operating income. So if you or your company be willing to support us in this way, get a hold of me, get a hold of Emily, let's have a chat, and let's see how we can work together to help you guys meet your goals too. We're also grateful for all our members. Who's a member here today? Members, thank you guys for coming out. That membership gets split between our operating costs and our events, so we certainly appreciate you. Spread the word. We do have a little referral thing going on. We'll advertise more about that as soon as we get the graphics made up. Non-members, first-timers, who do we got? Who's here first time? Somebody, I know, come on, Ashwin, I know you paid your way in. Who else paid your way in? Man, Heath, come on, man. We are really grateful you're here too. Hope you have a good time today. Feel free to come on up, say hello to me. I really want to meet you if it's your first time here. And Sherry Coker's also here. Excellent. I didn't see his hand back there. Thank you, Dwayne, for coming. Appreciate you. But do consider getting involved, buying a membership, or getting a hold of Emily or I and figure out how we can get you involved with this too. Event sponsors are what make our events run, obviously. Those event sponsorships go right back into the event and pay for things like this lunch here. Thank you very much. So if you can get involved with that. Speaking of events, all of the area events we try to centralize on our website at sgftechcouncil.com. So head there. A few highlights for this month. Springfield Creatives Monthly Meeting is coming up on June 19th. We have our Tech Group Leaders Lunch on the 20th. July 18th, Women in Tech Connect, that is open to women and gender minorities, discussing questions and experience of pay equality in tech. That is July 18th. The locations to be determined, but we'll get that on our website. And also in July, we'll be hopefully back in this room meeting and talking about security in tech. We'll have an announcement out soon. The date's still getting nailed down. August 1st, though, we are definitely back in this room. We have Austin Allen with Travelers coming. Who's been to one of the cyber insurance talks we've done the last 3 years? They are a lot of fun. They're very well attended. We learn a lot. And the best part is we get to yell at the insurance company. Make them uncomfortable. Excellence in Technology Awards. We're trying to bring those back this year. We are right now securing sponsorships and table sponsorships for that. So if you can get involved with that, we need to have that hammered out before we can give the final go on that. But look for more announcements for that really soon. And that brings me to today's sponsor, which is also Jack Henry. Does anybody in the room not know Jack Henry? Okay, so usually I introduce the company and tell a little bit about it, but I thought it'd be a little more fun to do a little history on Jack Henry instead of just saying, hey, they make banking software. Right. So as the largest technology employer in our region, they were founded back in 1976, so I'm still older, that sucks. They had an IPO in 1985, acquired Scimitar in 2000. This is all off NASDAQ's website. I didn't make any of it up. Launched Profit Stars in 2006, that's actually the first time I heard of Jack Henry, was through Profit Stars. Hit $1 billion in revenue in 2012, and in 2023, $2 billion in revenue. So you can see the trajectory of the company. And then also in 2023, we are very grateful as they became a visionary sponsor of Springfield Tech Council. And they have helped us in many, many ways, including introducing us over the last few weeks to some potential new sponsors and speakers. Thank you guys for everything you've done with us. You all need to thank them for the sandwiches. They're today's sponsor. So now I'd like to introduce you to today's speaker. Jonathan, to my right, he is a graduate of Western Governors University. See William right there in the back, follow this man. William is about to be a graduate of Western Governors University. He started Jack Henry back in 2001, started their cloud services department in 2011. Is that going anywhere? No, okay. And is now the incoming president of banking operations. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Jonathan Baltzell.
Last time we plugged this in, the computer crashed, so let's see if it actually survives this time. I did play it. He tried to hand me a thumb drive, and I'm like, dude, I would get in so much trouble.
I can't use them either. So.
Yeah. All right, there we go. All right, thanks everybody for coming out today. Thank you for having me. It's a privilege to be here and share the Jack Henry story with you. Thank you to the Jack Henry family for showing up, for support. It's really appreciated. As Dan mentioned, my name is Jonathan Baltzell, incoming president of Bank Solutions at Jack Henry. You're welcome to call me JB. Everybody does. I think it's just easier than like 3 syllables of Jonathan. So today I'm going to share with you the Jack Henry story, share with you what we're doing as far as tech modernization. But first I thought we might start just so you know kind of who I am. Hang on. There we go. Let's go.
Really?
Seriously. Live demos for the
In fairness, these clickers are not mine.
All right, here we go. So that's me. That's me in 2001, March 26, 2001. I started my journey with Jack Henry at the age of 16. I was part-time going to high school, doing Motec and Monet. And so when I graduated high school in 02 out of Aurora, I am a hound dog, don't hold that against me. When I graduated high school in 02, I decided I wanted to go full-time with Jack Henry. So when I graduated, a week later, I did my first conversion trip installing our Silver Lake core processing system in May of 2002. I spent the next 4 years as a programmer on the core services installation team. I installed every application in the platform in Silver Lake, from CDs to loans and everything in between. And then 4 years after that, I also led a conversion team of programmers and analysts, again installing the Silver Lake system. As Dan mentioned, I started the cloud services group called Hosting Operations at the time, back in 2009. I was ready to come off the road after traveling 60%, and we were having our first kid, so it just felt like the right time to make a change. So if you go back to 2009, we still had a lot of software that we were like shipping on a CD, where banks and credit unions could install it on their own systems and run it in-house. And this whole idea of software as a service was coming online. So my charge was to create a group and an environment to host these Windows-based services, Windows-based applications as services to our institution. So from 2009 to 2017, I worked on building that group. I worked with some of the folks you see over here. We deployed over 130 different solutions in the software as a service model for our customers to consume. And then in 2017, I was ready to get back in front of our customer base and had the opportunity to come into what we call Outlink, which is our hosted core processing service. and oversee the three banking platforms that we offer, which is Silver Lake 2020 and Core Director and outsourced environment. And then about 3 years ago, I also had the opportunity to roll the credit union core processing solution under my purview as well. So that's what I've done for about the last 7 years is all core processing. And then we announced in November of last year that Stacy Zingle, our 8-year president of Bank Solutions, was retiring, and I was fortunate enough to be selected as his successor. So I will officially take that role on July 1 when he retires on June 30th. From this past season. And bottom right, that's my person, Becky. So my kids live in Republic. They go to Republic schools. My son will be a freshman this year. Becky and I live in Monette, just about 7 minutes from the Monette headquarters of Jack Henry. So that's a little bit about me. As we start into the Jack Henry story, I would love to make this interactive. Just raise your hand if you want to have a question or a comment, unless your name is Chris Goodfellow, and then you aren't allowed to ask questions. So we'll get right into it. The attorneys tell me I have to have this in every slide deck. If I say a date, I'm sorry, it may change. Like, I've got bosses too, and that stuff happens. All right, who is Jack Henry? We are a well-rounded financial technology company. So if you look in our competitive space, primarily at Fidelity, aka FIS, and Fiserv, they have pivoted to become payments companies. Fiserv especially become a payments company. FIS did, and then they decided that was a really bad idea, so they shifted away, sold off the payments business, and now they're refocusing on core. But the way we look at Jack Henry is we do a lot in core. We are not just a core company. We do a lot in payments. We're not just a payments company. We do a lot in security. We're not a security company. We are a well-rounded financial services company for our institutions. Why do we do it, or what do we do, and how we do it? We strengthen the connections between our institutions and their customers for the benefit of financial wellness. If you rewind about 2 years prior to our rebranding, we had a traditional kind of corporate mission statement. We come to work to return value to shareholders, and we do that by providing good solutions and good service. And frankly, I love you all, but I don't get out of bed to return value to shareholders. I get out of bed to do something far more worthwhile. I'm super excited about what we did when we rebranded kind of our mission and purpose. Why we do it? To empower the world really to move forward with financial freedom. I don't know the statistics off the top of my head, but so many people live paycheck to paycheck or don't have the right amount of savings in the bank to weather any sort of disaster. So some of the things we're focused on in the future is really helping build that financial wellness and resistance for the community abroad. And then our founding philosophy, coming directly from our founders, Jack and Jerry, is do the right thing, do whatever it takes, and have fun. You'll see that kind of woven throughout the presentation. We serve these 4 kind of customer bases. Banks, that's where we cut our teeth, that's where we grew up until the acquisition of Semitar, I'll talk about in a second. Credit unions is another substantial base for us. And then de novos, if you're not familiar with the term, that's a new bank or credit union. So basically starting off, not existing, starting a brand new bank or credit union. We provide services to them. And then we also work a lot with fintechs. What's interesting is Jack Henry is considered a fintech. We're one of the oldest in the industry. When you think of a fintech, it's typically like startup, just a handful of people working 20 hours a day. And then you've got 48-year-old Jack Henry doing our thing. So why do we serve those 4? Because ultimately, every day. That's something we're working really hard to remind our associates of. We have a much bigger obligation than just maybe delivering a solution to a credit union or a bank. Ultimately, we deliver solutions to 244 million Americans on a day-to-day basis. So a little bit about Jack Henry. Dan stole some of my presentation, but I'm still going to talk about it anyway. This is where we started in 1976. Jack Henry was a real person. He and Jerry Hall founded our company in 1976 in the back of an engine repair shop. Jerry's desk was actually two sawhorses and an old like door, and that's what they started on. Some of the things that aren't in this slide deck, I think it's really important to understand what happened prior to Jack Henry starting in 1976. So in the late or early 70s, Jack Henry the man worked for the Lloyds Bank out of Monette, and he was kind of the IT person. Prior to Jack, they were doing stuff like manual ledgers, manual tickets, deposit slips, etc. And Jack was like, we really got to automate. Like, computers exist now, we've got to find a way to do this through software. And so Jack went out, staked his career on buying a piece of software, putting it on an old IBM mainframe, and making it work. What Jack saw in the early 70s was after he installed it, he was like, there's no way this is ever going to work. This software is crap. And so Jack invested his nights and weekends in changing the software to do the things that they needed to do. Then in 1975, I believe, the Lloyds Bank was acquired. And so when Jack was looking at kind of his exit package, he said, I just want my software. Because he knew there was an opportunity. He made the software work for the bank and saw the opportunity in the market to expand that influence across the industry. And so that's really where the original Jack Henry banking software came from. So he took that, partnered with Jerry, started this in 1976, and the rest is history. Another anecdote that I thought was interesting. It wasn't super easy back in 1976 to find customers willing to bet the farm, if you will, on a brand new software company, especially in the mid-70s. So Jack was the salesperson, Jerry was the brains, he was the one who made the software, finally did the stuff that he needed to do. And so what you see on the screen, Jack was out doing a sale, one of the initial sales to Jones National Bank in Nebraska, I think. And the banker said, I really want to do business with you, but I'm just not sure the viability of your company. Can I see a balance sheet? So Jack sat down with a piece of paper and he wrote out his personal balance sheet. What's interesting is when you look right here, it valued Jack Henry Associates at $600. That's how early on it was. And so Jack wrote out, like, this is everything I have. This is I have $18,000 in checking and savings. I have $14,000 in receivables from a business interest that I had before. $28,000 on this house with no mortgage, and then I'll skip down to $25,000 in cattle and farm gear. And this will give you some insight to how witty Jack was. But I owe my banker $33,000, which is a -8, and in the parentheses, boy is he worried. Damn cattle prices, And then things to keep me busy. This was Jack Henry at 600. He had a $3,000 interest in another business. He says here, I'm president of both. Always wanted to be president of something. So anyway, give you a little insight to Jack Henry the man. He was a pretty special person. So then we go on. Jack Henry was incorporated in 1977, generated $115,000 in revenue in their first year. 1985, as Dan mentioned, we went public, traded 3 million shares on the NASDAQ. I will tell you, from this time through about 2016, in 2016 there was an article that was published, life to date, Jack Henry was the best performing stock on the NASDAQ bar none during that period of time. And that all started back in 1985 when we went public. 92, we began to aggressively acquire more companies to expand our product offering, and 3 years later, we started what we have referred to as Outlink, which was our core processing, as a service, cloud processing, like the original cloud processing, if you will. 2000, we acquired Scimitar, so this was us getting into the credit union base. Huge for us. And what that led to, I'm not there yet. And then in 2006, through all these acquisitions, we didn't have a way to really kind of bring them all together. So we started this brand called Pocket Stars. And the idea was we had banking for our core banking business, we had Scimitar for core credit union business, and then let's take all these complementary products and bundle them into an offering or a brand that we call Pocket Stars. And so those were bolt-on ancillary products that we could sell both inside the Jack Henry base and outside of our core customer base. 2012, we hit $1 billion in revenue for the first time. So from 1977 at 115,000 to 2012, we hit $1 billion in annual revenue. Pretty big milestone for us. And then in 2016, we celebrated 40 years in business, and that's where that article came from. Celebrate our 40th year anniversary of being the best performance stock on NASDAQ. Ultimately, that brought us to the end of the 2020s, which you have these 3 brands that identify the stock Jack Henry identified in the market, which was somewhat confusing. Everybody knew the name Jack Henry, and then there was you were seeing product names used in terms of instead of brands, and so we thought, how do we solve this problem? How do we unify all of Jack Henry under one Jack Henry, one company? So we went through rebranding and we created the Jack Henry brand. Everything we do, everything we go to market nowadays is under the Jack Henry brand. No longer Profit Stars, or Scimitar, or banking. It's all under Jack Henry. Now we still sell the Scimitar core, we still sell the banking cores, but we just don't identify as those brands anymore. We are all one Jack Henry. So we organize all of our solutions, over 300 of which, into these key capabilities, 9 capabilities that we offer to our customers, and I won't read through them and kind of get the idea, but within these 9 categories, we offer about 300 plus solutions today across a variety of different areas. If you look at Jack Henry today, what we turned into, we have over 7,000 associates. I think I saw 7,400 was about the most recent head count. And we have offices, and we did have offices prior to 2020 in 48 states, I believe. Does that sound right? 42? It's saying 42. So we have 42 offices just through acquisition and things like that. We've since reduced that. We've gone to a large percentage of remote work. We've not forced everyone to come back into the office at all. But we do officially have employees in all 50 states now. So that's what makes up the 7,000. We service about 7,500 clients in the financial industry. So when you think about it today, there's roughly 9,000 financial institutions in the United States. So we had a big percentage of them. We did hit $2 billion in revenue last year, as Dan said. Our fiscal year runs from July 1 to June 30. So as of June 30, 23, we hit $2 billion in annual revenue. We should be right around 2.2, I think, when we come out with earnings after we close fiscal year at the end of this month. As I mentioned, over 300 solutions, 70%, now really about 72% are on a private cloud model for core processing. So over the years, we've continued to see more and more customers select our hosted core processing solution. Fewer and fewer are actually doing it on their own systems. As you all know, it just kind of makes sense from a technology perspective in most cases to consume cloud-based services just because of the efficiency. You don't have to worry about DR. I'll get into all those details. That's a different sales pitch. But anyway, a lot of reasons that we see our institutions start to choose store solutions. And then this is actually over 12 million digital subscribers. So we have the industry-leading digital platform that we call Banno. It's one of the top-rated apps in the App Store. If you go to your specific institution, we actually create individual apps per institution, per brand. But we have over 12 million subscribers now on our digital platform. We look at our pillars of success as 3 different constituencies, and we talk about them in this order for a very specific reason. Jack Henry said, if we take care of our associates, they will take care of our customers, and if our customers are happy, they will in turn take care of our shareholders. So that's really the way we look at how we manage our business. We monitor the satisfaction, if you will, of those 3 constituencies through a variety of ways. One is we're continually selected by our associates as a best place to work across the country. And that can be local, regional, national, whatever. And we're continually surprised by some of the accolades that we get. For example, I think 2 years ago, LinkedIn did their very first top 25 places to work in fintech. And here Jack Henry was like number 9, which was really cool. We didn't even know they were doing that survey, and then we get the award, which was pretty neat. I won't touch on all of these. Computer World Best Places in IT to Work. We'll get that one probably, I don't know, 10 years running. I can't remember the exact number. But anyway, employees seem to be pretty happy. We do an annual engagement survey. So on the anniversary date of an associate's employment, they get a survey about just how you like working at Jack Henry. Would you recommend us? If you feel engaged, you feel valued, those kind of things. 87% of our associates who respond believe in Jack Henry values. That is huge. I don't remember, I think the industry benchmark's like 60 to 65. So relatively speaking, we're doing pretty well. 77% feel a sense of belonging. I won't go quite into all of our DEI and D stuff today, but that is a huge focus for Jack Henry to make sure our associates do feel included and that they have those opportunities to kind of express their own identity at work. 79% trust Jack Henry, also well above benchmark. Very proud of that number. And then 83% feel Jack Henry demonstrates integrity. So when you look at our core values, it's relationships, integrity, service, and excellence. So to know that over 80% of our associates really feel like we express that is a pretty big deal to us. And the response rate, 65% over almost 4,500 associates, which again far exceeds benchmark for most of these types of engagement surveys. When we talk about our clients, we monitor our client satisfaction through surveys on both court cases as well as annual satisfaction surveys. So we rate this on a scale of 1 to 5. And so we average today at 4.75. So you got to imagine, to maintain a 4.75 average, you can't get a lot of things that aren't 5. Our target is really about 4.6 for the company. We're continually exceeding that target. And a 3 on this scale is that you met my expectations. 4 would be you exceeded my expectations, and 5 is like you were super awesome. So really proud of these scores. We actually saw these scores go up when the pandemic started. So we pivoted during the pandemic from about 26% remote to 98% remote. And we actually saw our customer sat scores increase, which was pretty awesome. Our stockholders, last but not least, revenue and EPS comparison. Revenue continues to climb. I've already mentioned some of those numbers to the trajectory, and then EPS very similarly. Our investment in technology, this is something that's really unique about Jack Henry in our market. Our competitors, we think, invest at about 5-ish% of their top line revenue back into their technology. We're at 15%. That's the percentage we are committed to for the foreseeable future. Where do we put that? So if you're a bank or a credit union and you see that we're putting 50% of what you're paying us back into the solution, that's pretty attractive. These are our technology priorities. So this is where we're focused right now and going forward. One is digital solutions / Banno Business. Banno is our digital platform. Think about mobile and online, although we don't talk about them that way anymore. Technology modernization, I'm going to dive into that here in just a couple of slides to give you some insight. And then financial crimes technology, we're delivering a new solution we call Financial Crimes Defender. Fraud is a very big deal in all different channels. So huge focus for what we're doing right now on financial crimes. Payments, again, we do a lot in payments. We defined a hub strategy where we can actually bring payments in and route them based on like reduced cost routing and preferential routing to our payments center hub. Cybersecurity, these folks over here help us with that a lot, making sure everything lives within our walls, stays protected. And then integrated accounting platforms, so giving our institutions a seamless way, a seamless experience. So if you log on and you want to open an account online and then you have to transition over to in-branch for some sort of support, how does that experience work? So we're investing a lot in making that seamless. And then our One Jack Henry program. So over the last 48 years, we acquired over 50 companies. And what's interesting about that is we operated by 50 companies. And so about 4 years ago, our COO and incoming CEO started a program called One Jack Henry to start to unify all 50 of those organizations into really what you see as one company. So when we rebranded, it wasn't just about a new face. It was about changing the way we operate. And we're doing that right now. We're seeing more and more of that collaboration that we would expect that we really hadn't had before. So that's a little bit about Jack Henry. We continue to execute based on a very disciplined strategy. This is how we approach what we do. One, we will do acquisitions that make sense. After acquiring 50 companies, we don't have a lot of gaps left in our portfolio, but we continue to look for those opportunities where it makes sense. We pivoted a lot, we did a lot of acquisitions in the 90s, 2000s, and early 2010s, but then as things got overpriced, it just hasn't made a lot of sense for us to go out and buy a lot of things. And so we pivoted our investment a lot to building a lot of our own stuff. Service philosophy that sets us apart from the competition. We hear this every time we talk to a client or a prospect if they've been on a different servicer. Our customer service outperforms anybody else in our industry, as illustrated by the 4.75 average we might see on our scores. Open philosophy. So everything that we do, we actually kind of set the stage back in 2009, 2010 with our open strategy. So historically, it was really hard to integrate to a core banking system. You had to develop custom integrations, like think about like batch files or some sort of custom API. It wasn't standardized. So on the banking side, we developed a proprietary middleware where we could bring all these different vendors into this one integration point. And that's kind of perpetuated our open strategy where everything we do today is API first, so that we can welcome in third parties. They're not Jack Henry companies, but our belief is we're in business to make our customers successful, not the other way around. And so when we allow open integration to our systems, we now have over 800 ancillary complementary products integrated to our solutions because of that open strategy. If you're in the fintech industry, you can actually go out to jackhenry.dev and get all the specs you need to integrate with our solutions. Again, no one else in our industry does that. So we're continuing to perpetuate this open strategy where everyone's welcome based on what that institution really needs to be successful in supporting strategies. One Jack Henry mindset, as I mentioned, to build consistency and collaboration. So Greg Adelson, our incoming CEO, when he started this program, built it on 4 tenets: transparency, consistency, collaboration, and communication. And we're all held accountable to really living those 4 tenets and everything that we do. The idea that if we get a support case and it's not ours, but we make sure there's one hand off to the group that's supposed to take care of it, those kind of things. Tech modernization has been a years-long investment for us. We started it about 4 years ago, and again, I'll dive into that here in the second half of the presentation. And then increased investment in building more of the technology, as I mentioned. Instead of acquiring all the stuff, we're going out and building the things that we really see to be done for our institutions. As far as the banking, I'll give you a little statistics on just like the banking and credit union spaces that we serve. Today, it says about 1,000 banks. I think we're at 924 due to industry consolidation. We support 25% of the multi-billion-dollar banks in the United States, which I think is a pretty cool statistic. And then 140 solutions specific to core or specific to banking. And again, we offer both private cloud and on-premise solutions to our customers. Any questions so far? We shouldn't do this after lunch, folks. Seriously. We should do the presentation first. Just so, in case you're not familiar with the banking industry, we continue to see consolidation over the years. You can see from 22 to 23, we lost 100 banks in the United States. 99% of those are due to acquisition of smaller banks being acquired by bigger banks. It gets harder and harder to survive in the banking industry due to increased regulatory pressure, expenses, market compression, and then non-interest income is a huge part of what our banks do. And as that gets compressed by folks like the CFPB, some banks just don't have a choice except to get acquired by a bigger institution just to stay alive. Market share, so Jack Henry's right around 19.3% of overall bank market share in the United States. You can see that our sweet spot is really in this the 1 to 10 space. I'll talk in the next slide right here. So 25% of multi-billion-dollar banks in the United States today. You can see that in 2001 we had 26 clients with more than $1 billion in assets. Now we're at 238. And that metric's pretty interesting because it's not that we went out and won a whole lot of billion-dollar business. We're doing better in the last 2 or 3 years, but a lot of those 238 banks have grown with Jack Henry. So they have come on, as a $250 million institution and just have organically grown with our company over the last 20+ years. And then on the credit union side, again, very similar to the banking side, we have 719 credit union clients on the Scimitar platform today. We own the $1 billion+ market, 49% market share. That's by far the leading platform within the credit union space. 37 of the largest credit unions in the United States consume the Scimitar platform. I think we have, so the largest in the United States would be maybe Federal. We have the next largest on the Scimitar platform. 3 million to 29 billion is the asset range that we serve on the credit union side. 70% of credit unions consume our private cloud model. Evolved database, I won't get into that. That's basically shifting from a proprietary flat database schema over to a industry standard Microsoft SQL Server schema. And then we have over 275 integration partners that integrate with the Scimitar platform. Similar consolidation in the credit union industry. We lost 172 credit unions last year, and now it's 4,700 at the end of 2023. We continue to do well. As you can see, our revenue continues to grow even as our industry is consolidating. So I think we're positioned really well with roughly 95% recurring annual revenue for what we do. And then, as I mentioned on the previous slide, we pretty much own the $1 billion+ space. You can see the statistics here. Overall market share of about 28%. We don't play up very much in the under $250 million asset size credit union space. And then just one last stat before we dive into tech modernization. We service out of our private cloud. I think this is interesting. Over 1,000 institutions representing over $1 trillion in assets. So when you think about that 244 million people, this is the way that we're doing that, because we're actually providing the core processing services for these institutions and then all of their members and customers. I feel like that was like a lot. Any questions on Jack Henry before I dive into tech modernization? Yeah, we got one back here.
Good feedback.
Yeah, the question was what platform are we using to capture employee engagement? Nick, is it Qualtrics? Yeah, we're using the Baltzell platform for both associate surveys as well as customer surveys. Good question. Back here? Yeah, they want to go and cash in because it seems like huge balance. Yeah. And there's a federal program to do that. Yeah. But it's not yeah. So the question was, any concern from the Jack Henry perspective about the bad bond debt that's in the market today? Yes, is the short version. But our customer base, a lot of them are very astute in how they're managing that. You see when margin flips upside down, they're finding ways to take care of that. But we've had some that are doing this, like they'll sell off facilities and then rent them back to get the capital to manage through that bond inversion. From a Jack Henry perspective, we're not quite as worried. And I'll tell you why. It may sound insensitive, but if a bank starts to or a credit union start to struggle in that way, they're going to sell off or be told by the regulators that they're going to be sold off to one of our other customers potentially. So that's where the industry consolidation comes from. And since most of our contracts are really geared toward either per member or per account pricing, then if that comes to a Jack Henry institution, then our revenue will continue to increase. The way that we are 95+% of recurring annual recurring revenue is already contracted. I think Jack Henry is in a good spot to weather the storm. Anecdotally, I'll share with you, one of my areas of focus in FY25 and beyond is helping build resilience for our institutions looking ahead into the 2030s for that very problem. Good question. I'm not an economist and I don't pretend to play on it, but that's just my opinion. Any other questions? All right. I'll try not to talk quite as fast, so go ahead and go real quick. Let's talk a little bit about tech modernization. Anybody with a bank in here or a credit union? Okay, a couple. Well, that's good because I'm going to get you with some basic information so they don't assume everybody knew how banking software works. So traditionally, this is what our core systems look like. So what Jack and Gary designed in the 1970s and really what we continue to run on today is this large monolithic application. So if you think about, think about the 80s. You walk into a bank, and they can service every single thing that you need off of their one system. They can manage your account. They can do your loans. They can take, deposit your checks, cash checks. They can manage your, exception item processing. They can send a wire. And all of that was done on this large core system. What that meant was, anytime we did a release or that data of those systems, we had to upgrade the whole thing. So it just became this huge, monolith, if you will. That's just how the systems were built because that's how banks operated. But then, on the left, this is the environment we used to live in. So banking systems were designed to support, foot traffic in the branch. Hours are 10 to 3, maybe 8 to 5, which you got in the 90s, 2000s, and then 8 to noon on Saturday. And then all the work happened in a batch at night on that core system. So it was geared for performance at the batch processing level because the demand that it had in an interactive, ongoing, throughout the day scenario really wasn't that high. And then as we come into the digital age, this is the experience we all have on our phones, on the internet. We expect, when we go to Amazon, they have 99.999% uptime, which is the experience we expect now from everything. Netflix, take the pick. And so the challenge was, how do we bridge this gap when the expectation has now changed? What's wrong with it? So we ask ourselves this question. We ask this question of our customers and prospects. Do you think you'll have more or less self-service demand from the internet next year than you do this year, more or less? Okay, probably all say more. Next year, more or less. You're going to see more. We all want to do self-service. We don't want to have to call somebody. That's a pain. We surely don't want to always go walk the branch, even though I still like to do this relationship there. And then keep going on, play this out. More or less in 25, you're going to have more digital demand. 26, and you can see our institutions, especially through consolidation, our institutions are continuing to grow along that same kind of curve. So how do we what's the problem that we have here? problem is we now have all this self-service internet generated demand for banking activities on systems that were all designed for the internet ever existed. And so we run into this problem to where you can see the hot pipes, what we call hot pipes down there on the right. Because now we've tried to extend this solution to meet these demands. And it's not there. And as an industry, it's not there. Then you can you compound that problem with this. Through digital transformation, we've achieved financial fragmentation. Most of us have 20 to 30 different relationships, financial relationships, and we don't even realize it. Think about PayPal. Okay, you might have PayPal and money sits in PayPal instead of being at your bank or credit union. If you have Venmo, Zelle, rinse and repeat, right? This is the ecosystem that we as consumers now live in. And if you're a business, it's even worse. Now you have, not only are you a consumer as a person, but now you're a consumer as a business. So this financial fragmentation has led to a whole ecosystem of additional demand coming in from the internet to solutions that were made before the internet was even contemplated. And so I would solve that. We've got to skate to where the puck's going to be. I think it's one of those he said. So we've got to figure out how do we take this 48-year investment that we made in a very robust core banking or core trading platform and enable it to manage that demand, and how do we extend it into the environment where all of the innovation is happening in the public cloud? How do we extend these core systems into the public cloud and take advantage of that pace of innovation? Because if we try to do it at the core level, we can't keep up. If you're delivering one release, one new update a year that's got everything in it, you can't keep up with applications that are delivering 600, 800 updates a week. So this is what we came up with about 3-4 years ago. It's our tech modernization strategy. So our new technology is going to be component-based, and I'll show you a diagram of what that means in a second. Open, as I mentioned, we do everything API first. We do it one time instead of an API. And we bundle that API into our developer toolkit and make that available to any vendor. Digitally centric, so no longer, we built our core systems originally to be teller centric, where you would walk in and cash your check or whatever. What we're building now is digital centric, so that when you pull out your phone, that's the experience that we start with first. And then cloud native, again, we've got to take advantage of the pace of innovation and the ability to scale and be resilient that you only find in the public cloud. So what's that look like? So here's what it looked like before. Here's what it's going to look like in the future. So we're taking all of the things that you see in each of these columns. So you look at wires, you look at deposits, you look at accounts. We're unbundling that. And we're creating component-based solutions in the Google Cloud Platform, GCP. And so what's really cool about this is all of these will connect back to I used to say traditional. Most people said legacy. I don't like that word. But I was down with IBM last month, and they said legendary. So these are now legendary core systems, which I thought was pretty cool. But what's cool is you can now connect, let's say you want to leverage our new deposit module without having to completely replace your SilverLake core system or your Centercard core system. You can do that. So we're extending these legendary core systems into the public cloud environment with these modules and enabling our customers to adopt them a module at a time rather than a huge, scorched earth conversion. And so then we'll take those and we'll bundle them, make them available on this platform in GCP. And there's no line, but this box down here is represent a legendary form. And so this is what it looks like. This is what the future of Jack Henry's banking platform looks like. It'll service both banks and credit unions because in today's world, we have 9 different applications that manage ACH. So if there's an ACH regulatory change, we have to do a change it in 9 places. Release it to 9x number of customers using that solution. Going this direction, we only do it once. And it's delivering the public cloud environment where we can deliver continuous updates every day, every time of the day. All of that puts our institutions back at the center of their customers and members' ecosystem. So no longer do you have to go, let's say you have a Venmo account. You can bring that into the experience of your customers if you're a bank or a credit. So no longer are you differentiated or disintermediated. You now have that relationship that banks, community and regional banks and credit unions are known for. So if you try to call Chase, it's difficult to give support as an example. Now you can still have that relationship that's differentiated you as a community or regional financial institution putting you back in the center of the world of your customers and members. That's the vision for Jack Henry's tech modernization strategy. I kept it very high level because we could go really, really deep, and I didn't want to do that today. So I think I'll close with our philosophy, which is do what I think, do whatever it takes to have fun. And I'll stop there and see if you're still awake. Any questions? Be back.
What are Jack Henry's strategies for building good technologies like quantum computing, photography, AI, and then blockchain?
Wow, that's a lot. So the question is, what are Jack Henry's strategies with quantum computing, AI, blockchain, and cryptography?
Well, quantum computing is really what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. So I honestly don't know that I can opine on the quantum computing piece. I know we've got some white papers from IBM that we still see it. You know, we're looking, I think, from a security perspective at like how to prepare to be quantum safe. That's about as far as my knowledge goes. Now, blockchain, you know, we were looking at that about 4 years ago, and then decided to slow our roll a little bit just to see where the rest of the world kind of went with blockchain. But one I'll touch on is AI. I knew the question was going to come, and I purposely did not put slides in here because we could spend hours on what we're doing with AI. But I'll give you just kind of a little insight. One, we've developed a corporate AI strategy about how we as a company will use AI. We recognize the potential that it holds. We understand that AI won't replace people. People using AI won't replace people that don't use AI. Is kind of where we're looking at it. And so we've defined a strategy that we kind of articulated as responsibly, bold, and balanced. So we want to encourage the use of AI in a place that it makes sense and doesn't put any risk on our associates, our company, and our customers. We're looking at internally how can we incorporate things like Copilot to make us more effective employees, summarizing long email threads, generating minutes from a Teams call, those kind of things. From a customer perspective, it's really exciting. So everything we're doing in the platform that I just showed you back here will have AI inherently incorporated to it. And so one of the reasons we chose GCP is because we saw them as the industry-leading, safest, most conservative when it comes to using AI. So there's a screenshot that I did not put in here, so I didn't know if it was relevant. But in today's world, think about a CFO of a bank or a credit union. They're going to come in the morning and look at my reports, what were my deposits in yesterday, how much cash do I have going out, what's my tax position, what are my balances, and then they're going to have to wait 24 hours to get the next report to know what's happening at the institution. Well, what we saw with SVB signature, the large bank failures that occurred in the last 12 months is the regulators now want to know in those situations, like, what is your cash position right now? Is there a run on your bank? Because it will happen that fast. So what we're doing here with real-time data integration, coupled with AI Assist, the CFO can literally say to an interface, what's my current deposit, cash position at the bank right now, and it will generate that report. So you don't have to sit there with a report writer and spend 2 or 3 hours writing some interactive report. AI will generate it for you. So that's one very small example of how we're integrating that to our platform. Another one that's pretty straightforward is chatbot sort of responses, but more intelligent than that. We've actually been able to train our AI on customer training manuals, so that when the chatbot responds, it sounds like an employee of the bank instead of just a standard kind of like prompt response situation. And then the last thing I'll say on usage of AI, one of the things we're looking at, that played on somebody on the right, is IBM's Code Assist. So they shared with us last month that they now have a Code Assist function that you can feed in business requirements and it will generate the code to do what it asks. Or reverse engineer, here's a program, tell me what it does, and it will actually output like the business requirements from the program that was written 40 years ago, but no one knows how it works. So those are just a few examples. Good question on that. Go right here and I'll come back to you. Go ahead.
So, curious how far along you are in this implementation approach, and what do you expect the
That's a good question. The question was, how far along are we in this approach, and then how far in the future will we be bringing it? I'll say, first I'll start with, we believe that every US dollar will continue to settle on IBM hardware for at least the next 20 years.
Like it's just too integrated, like it's too omnipresent at every large provider in their industry for both core or payments across. Like they all run on IBM hardware. So we're not expecting those to go away anytime soon, certainly not in the rest of my career. But what we're doing by extending that to the cloud and taking that component-based approach, we started with really wires was one of the biggest ones for a few different reasons, regulatory, some new changes coming down there. So we're delivering right now a lot of the, I'll say, foundational modules, like think about authentication and authorization, excuse me, identity management, accounts and loans. So we're delivering all of that. We've got 2 modules going live this calendar year. That would be for the wires as well as our fraud product. Those are both built on the platform. Then we have a roadmap that really takes us through about 2028 right now, where in 2028, an institution could run a deposit on the core solely in the cloud, settling back to our automated core system. So we don't expect to supplant or replace existing core systems in the near future. It's really about being able to innovate much more quickly once we get those components in the cloud. Good question. Thank you.
Yeah, this thing is totally or flip on that ask. So Jack Henry has about 3,000 core components from the technology acquired. Do you think that you have this IBM technology that is going to be around for a while? What would you say philosophy when you're doing this architect, software architect, strategy, the kind of organizing? This component is unsecure and unencrypted, this secure. This component is secure and encrypted, but this component is only used one time, this one only is used 10 times. Just like philosophy, what does that philosophy look like for modernization of those components? Maybe you're one that really does it. The other thing is, from the insurance that I found really fascinating, the USAA has so many financial patents. Definitely like some of those technically. And I see Dell, Florida, and some people there. What are like 3 technologies that you see that are really cool about that?
All right, so the first question was, how is Jack Henry prioritizing the use of really secure versus unsecure behavior relative to what we're going to innovate toward next? Am I reiterating that correctly?
There's 3, there's how many instances of use,
Yeah.
what is the financial impact of some time, and then take every dollar to write this component and then
Sure.
take
Yeah, so again, the question is generally how are we prioritizing all of those things, and I would say that, one, all of those things that you said are inputs. What's the security risk? What's the usage? What's the cost to re-innovate? What's the total addressable market for the solution? We input all of that into a business case, and those get fed into 1, our budget process, which we're in right now, or 2, if it's handled outside of that budget process, the business case just has to make sense. Either we're eliminating a substantial risk that we can apply dollars to, but generally, it's just really a matter of what is the specific situation. I think to your second question, what was your second question?
So what if we start a startup or
Oh,
technology?
yeah, what technologies are interesting to Jack Henry? That's probably a better question for our CTO than me. It's interesting to talk about USAA having all the patents. We actually did file for our first patent last year. First one that Jack Henry's ever done, which I think is pretty unique. Literally met with the CTO of Power Systems last month, and we filed for 125 patents or something crazy. It's never something that we've looked at. We think that we've got some unique opportunity around fraud specifically, and our ability to really eliminate that on certain railings. So that's one that we're aggressively pursuing. Technology-wise, man, there's so much stuff out there, but I'll tell you, we're going through the process to rationalize what we put our investments to, and then partnering with those other solutions which we think are really interesting. So what we're doing with Autobooks as an example, a lot like bringing Autobooks in as a Jack Henry partner, but not necessarily owning that solution. So you'll see a lot more of that from us in the future, just because we want to make sure we focus on the things that we can deliver better than anybody else. And then let a lot of the fintechs out there focus on these niche problems. There's a huge debate in our company, is it niche or is it niche? I say niche. So you'll see a lot more of that from us, letting the fintech solve these very niche problems and focus on that. while we solve the problems that we're pursuing to solve.
And I follow up with that. So I talked to SVP, and one of these fintechs came to me, and they said, I have a solution I'd like to do with Jack Henry, or I know SVP. He said, you're going to do it, you don't want to talk about it.
I don't know that I know. So the question was,
My question is there, follow up, is there a Jack Henry lab? Is there a place for these to get in with a project?
yeah.
Maybe not, you get that level.
Yeah, absolutely. So the final question there was, is there a lab that fintechs can plug into without having necessarily be a sponsor entity? But the answer is absolutely yes. Have them go to jackhenry.dev, you'll find our full API documentation. They can plug into a lab, they never even have to call us. If you go back through our last 12 months of press releases, you'll actually see some fintechs that have published press releases. We basically put the template out there, and then it's all like they can do everything themselves, including publish a Jack Henry press release that says this company is integrated with Jack Henry. So yeah, jackhenry.dev is good for that. Okay. Good questions. Next, over here, sorry, Jeremy.
As the person who asked me for
Jeremy can help you out on the press release.
I've heard you present a lot of organization same question I was asked earlier is, what do you think is the biggest roadblock to adoption of this philosophy?
Question is, what's the biggest roadblock to adoption of our new technology on the FI side?
What's the biggest thing you think about it?
Yeah. So the question is, what's the biggest thing basically keeping our institutions from adopting new technology, our new technology? I'd say it's a variety of things. You know, we do know from industry surveys that we're going to continue to see increased investment from institutions into technology, whether it's both will well for us, because they know, especially this year, operational efficiency and automation is at the top of every institution list. Because it's getting harder and harder to go find that new revenue. They've got to figure out how to become more efficient at how they're operating today. The biggest obstacle in my mind is probably talent. Finding the talent that can manage these solutions in the right way to achieve the best return on investment is the biggest challenge that our institutions face today. Because frankly, if you're not, if you look at Jack Henry with the scale at which we operate, we're able to attract and retain some of the best talent in our industry bar. Our cybersecurity group, as an example, over 100 highly credentialed cybersecurity experts protecting our customers that live within our prem, as well as our associates. You compare that to $200 million institution on the corner of the square, they can't attract that kind of talent. So when you look at these large opportunities to improve how they operate, they've got to have the talent that can focus on making these things reality. Good question. Is that what David and Blair said? Good. Scored. Good question. Then we've got just a few minutes left. Yeah, go ahead. Wow, that's a deep one. The question is, how do we determine the boundaries for doing whatever it takes? I think it starts with the first one, which is do the right thing. And so if we start there and then look at doing whatever it takes, is doing whatever it takes, does that mean working 60 hours a week for 6 months straight? I don't know, is that the right thing to do? Like that's what we come back to. Number one, is it the right thing? And then we'll talk about doing whatever it takes. I think hopefully the Jack Henry team would agree that that's how we answer your question. Vaguely. All right. Any other questions? Back here.
You mentioned blockchain. What are your design plans for crypto, CBDC, blockchain, and Web3 technology?
Yeah. So the question is really what are our plans around blockchain, crypto, etc. We have no plans right now, just to be perfectly blunt. The reason's twofold. Blockchain as it exists today, as far as I know, is a very inefficient technology. It takes way too much to actually do much on blockchain at scale. Give a handshake, that's what I've been told. But two, until we get regulatory clarity around all things cryptocurrency, we can't play in that space. Now what we're allowing right now, for example, is you can bring your Coinbase account into our digital platform. It's just like, again, putting the institution back in the center of the customer's world. So you can actually surface your Coinbase account into Banno. But we don't play in that space as Jack Henry, not until we have regulatory clarity. And I'll tell you, every customer I've talked to in the last 2 years feels the same. They want nothing to do with it. Okay? Good question. Any others? This side of the room is really quiet. Okay. Well, then I will wrap it up. Thank you all so much for the opportunity to come and share the Jack Henry story. I am super passionate about it. Hope you can see that. Really love what you all are doing here with the Central Technology Council as a local. It means a lot to me. Anytime that I can be of support, feel free to reach out to me at jbaltzell@jackhenry.com. I'd be happy to take your inquiries or anything you don't have. So thank you all very much.
Yeah, great job, Jonathan. Nobody gets to leave, there's still food. Grandma's rules apply. We don't see, yeah, hey, it counts. That's right. We have about 1,000 interns. We can feed them with that. Thank everybody for coming. Keep an eye on our email, socials, and all that good stuff. We'll have an announcement about July stuff out real soon. And keep an eye out on the website, too. We'll put all the other groups' stuff there as well. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you all.